New York. Do they say that? All right. Yeah, I think I like the talking over the intro slowly, so that's gonna fade in. Hopefully that's still sounds good for everybody there. This will be, I guess, the intro to this is it's the second episode of Lift Talk. Once again, I'm Ed.
I'm Riley.
Next to me we have Riley. And let's see. We both forgot our headphones, so if this does sound odd at some points, it might
We will never know.
Yeah, the ones I'm using are actually pretty bad. Samsung says they were good. They're the ACGs or whatever, they come with the S9s. They're actually pretty bad. I mean, they're earbuds, so I guess what can you really expect? But as long as the mic is picking it up. Oh, also, it sounds so bad when you touch this thing. I'm going to try and not do that. All right. So the topic basically of today's episode was Pine Hills. It's a
Piney Hills
trail system in South Plymouth, I guess. Technically, I guess we call it that.
Yeah, I think we should check up on some of the news stuff first.
You want to do that first?
Yeah,
let's jump to that first.
Let's talk about some stuff.
Really? Okay. Do you hear what he just said? He just said, why don't you, for once in your life, just do the f***ing news? All right. No. I'm gonna do the f***ing news. No. Here is the f***ing news.
Oh, my Wi-Fi dropped out. Oh, check. Is this the part where we cut this out or just leave this in? Technical difficulties. All right, here we go. All right, so which part of news do you want to actually take a look at first?
Well, I actually was looking at a follow-up from our gearbox stuff that we were talking about.
Ooh.
Shimano is dropping some patents. Looks like they're getting into that game finally. Because they've always done the internal hub stuff, but the gearbox near the crank is pretty new to them, and they seem to be making some moves on that. So that might be something coming up to kind of challenge all the pinion, and I think there are a few other brands that are doing a gearbox.
Now, how that works, that's a sealed, is Shimano doing a sealed setup?
That's what I expect, yeah. Their hubs have always been a pretty darn sealed system. You can service them, but they're not super open as far as systems go. So
a lot of us, well, not us, I'm not going to say that, but a lot of people service their bikes now by themselves. Do you think it's going to create an issue where you're going to have to bring it in to get worked on, basically? Because it's what, at this point, a small transmission,
Yeah, so most of I'm kind of speaking more of my experience with the internal hubs.
Okay.
The internal hubs, it's essentially just an oil change and a clean out. So you just push new oil through and take the old oil out.
So we'd actually be doing oil changes on our bikes. Are you telling me this? Are you serious?
Yes. Yeah. that's how most of the internal hubs work.
How much is the synthetic upsell on that one? Regular old oil.
Yeah.
We're gonna have specialized. Muck-Off's gonna have a $900.
Exactly. They're gonna have you got the ceramic speed, fancy internal gear oil.
I wonder how many watts it'll absorb. Actually, I wonder if that's actually a valid point. Fluid friction is going to add something. I wonder, but
yeah, all the internal hub systems that's been their downfall, is they have a lot more resistance to them, especially in certain gears. Because if you go into like one of those, like what we'd call like an overdrive gear, then it's going to have a little more resistance to it.
The granny gear.
Yeah, essentially they're going to have like a. They make a lot of noise in those gears too, actually, compared to the rest of the gears in that box.
Well, I guess if you just have better legs in the granny gears, and you can problem solve that way.
Yeah.
Also, I think it might be an issue with. Racing dictates trickle down. It sounds stupid, but
yes. Yeah.
If they're not going to adopt it mainstream, I feel like the tech might take a little bit longer to get down to the rest of us. It might be more boutique, fancy bikes. Like
absolutely.
Like a lot of the brands. Like I was talking recently to the guy. It's not a sales manager. I'm going to say it was a sales manager at Zeroed Bikes, who do the pinion gearbox setups on their bikes. But it's still not like a widespread thing, really.
Yeah, especially not over here. In this neck of the woods.
I would like to try one. I would like to see how that feels.
Yeah.
If it's different, I don't even care if it's better. Just it's a different feel. I'd like to be interested and see how it would be,
Yeah.
Cool. And that was Shimano's take on it. So like you were talking about, it's probably super refined and actually kind of super smooth ride.
In most cases, that's how Shimano plays the game, yeah. The other thing, I don't remember if we talked about it last week, but the fact that you need a custom frame, and Shimano might be for opinion for like a gearbox, is you need to have something to mount it on.
Yeah.
But Shimano might be trying to make it mount the same way as like an e-bike battery, or not a battery, but the actual drive unit, and having that overlap definitely opens things up for everyone, because a manufacturer can just make the one frame that's either an e-bike or a gearbox bike, or both, as we kind of move forward with that. And they might start becoming both, like an e-bike that has that internal drive unit.
I think we're going to start to blur lines here. I mean, also, if you think about it from a licensing standpoint, it would make sense to just have something you can bolt on that another company can license it, change the shape, change the color of the add-on, and call it Specialized Super Drive, whatever the heck, or whatever, you know. And yeah, I think that's going to be more of like you said, the frames are going to be e-bike, not e-bike, opinion. Like it's going to be, I think, a little overlap. But I mean, don't get me wrong. There's always going to be people that like weird stuff, and I don't think niches will really die out.
No.
Yet.
No.
I think in addition to, basically,
there are enough small frame builders and small outfits out there that it's not going anywhere for the time being, anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of blurred lines, though,
What you got here now?
you had
It's not Robin Thicke's song. I hate that song. What did I have? Oh,
we're gonna have to play that.
We're gonna go to the Wolf 2 stuff now.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna go to the Lauf. I was gonna go to the Lauf stuff.
Laughing stuff. Yeah, let's do the Lauf stuff. Okay, because I've heard
The laughing stuff.
I've never used the trap of Lauf fork before, but I've heard mixed reviews, kind of from gravelly people who say it's kind of worth it. And other people, I feel like it's very dividing.
Yes. It's even just looking at it, it's a very divisive thing to look at.
I mean, divisive is a nice word for saying ugly, I guess, right? To some. I'm not a huge fan. It looks like a weird musical instrument that's on the front of a bike, you know. Iceland, right? Icelandic manufacturer. I think it's pronounced Lauf, right?
Lauf.
Lauf.
Yes. Yeah.
Lauf. Leaf spring rear suspension, get it, Lauf. And they're actually doing the similar setup on the rear now. Did you see how that's set up on those little...
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, it's neat. I think... I want to say there's another company out there that had something similar to this in one of their full suspension bikes. It was essentially a way to like kind of dampen their rear suspension.
Was it all right? So it was basically where the rear seat stay met that bracket. I've seen a company.
They had like a leaf spring thing in addition to their actual rear shock as kind of a way to like tune that suspension a little better. This obviously gets rid of that rear shock and just does the leaf spring. There's so many takes on this kind of thing at this point.
You're not too like blown away by it?
No.
I don't think anybody will be too much either.
I do admire like Lauf kind of like sticking to their guns, because they started with the fork, and they got pretty big with that. Obviously, again, divisive.
Divisive, yes.
But they polarizing. Let's say polarizing.
Ooh, I like that better. That's much better. Let's use that one.
But they eventually they gained enough traction that they were releasing their own bike. I think it's the True Grit.
Yes, I love that movie. By the way,
a pretty sweet little frame, actually. Regardless of whether or not you like the fork, the frame looked sweet.
Excellent.
It looked like a
look
decent little build.
True Grit.
And now they're kind of returning back to their roots with what I assume is going to be their new, like, not True Grit, maybe Truer or Truest Grit. I don't know what
the most True Grit,
the
highest,
the best grit,
grammatically
the
correct, the gritty. Oh,
the grittiest,
the gritty, and the grittier.
Yes, but I think that'll be cool to see them like actually have a frame that's a little more their own, if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense.
Because as much as they had a bike, but nothing made the frame like really unique
to stand out from anything else.
Yeah, it was really just the fact that they had their fork on there.
Hey guys, look at this.
Yeah,
but now it's basically like a design.
But now this will be like all theirs, which is kind of cool to see.
That's gonna be cool as a company
see them grow
too,
like this. Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, this is our complete effort. Kind of, you know.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. Like, we have. All right, so what are we doing now? Are we going slightly suspended gravel bikes? And now we're going to be going 90 mil gravel bikes, and then 100. Like, then we're back to XC bikes with skinny tires again.
Exactly.
And like, welcome back 15 years.
I already got my
Oh, is this a website playing?
I don't know.
The True Grit. My bad.
Oh, that was the True Grit?
Technical difficulties, yeah, in the background. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we're just going full circle again. We gave up. We're like, oh, let's do drop bar bikes with no suspension on, gravel. It's great.
Yep.
What is this? Why? Would you care about something like this?
Oh, absolutely.
You
absolutely. So I usually, for my like gravel-ish bike, I'm sticking rigid. That's fine. But I am a big fan of drop bar mountain bikes, like taking these bikes that shouldn't be used off road and using them off road and making them a little better for off road.
Let's take something that's not made to do this.
Yeah,
let's do this.
Yeah,
let's
there's
make a new
something that's
segment.
a blast about underbiking,
And
like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
that's a good analogy for that one. And I mean, what's going to help you for distance? Do you care about it at this point? Like, I mean, it's going to be a little bit softer in the rear. Is it like a semi soft tail kind of? I don't know.
Yeah. So, again, there's so many takes on this. Some of them are definitely more fit for some uses than others. Like I see this. It's tough to see from just a patent, and it's tough to kind of evaluate like how well it's going to perform and how it's going to perform. But let's say like I'm looking at a picture of the Niner that they've been kind of roaming around here. The Niner full suspension drop bar bike.
Okay.
And it's like they're branding it as a gravel bike. It's a little more of a mountain bike with road parts on it. And that's kind of where that blurred line is a little weird. Like I'd totally use that for a long distance, like mountain-ish ride.
Bike packing thing?
Kind of, yeah. It's a little weird, but I feel like this Lauf is definitely going to be more on the roadside. And we're getting into this spot where there's a bike for everything now, which is awesome, but it's also infuriating. Because none of it makes sense.
I mean, it's going to be confusing too for people from a certain standpoint. Because I mean, people are getting into this, and it's like, all right, there's 15 different types of bikes. What am I going to be doing the most?
Yeah, it's if you need a bike for a particular event, you are in the industry is in the best shape for you because you can find the bike for that event out there.
They'll take your money and they'll give you something nice back for it. Yeah.
Yep. But the trick is, if you want a bike for every event, there's so many bikes out there now that are good for a lot of events that it's tough to figure out, kind of mesh your riding style with what's out there, especially in the gravel world right now, because that's changing a lot.
Yeah, and that's going to be hard for you. I mean, to recommend stuff. I can't imagine somebody comes in to like on a bike, you're like, oh boy.
Well,
where do we start?
It's more just kind of like steering people in the right direction, showing them, like presenting all the options and saying, look, this sounds like what you're looking for. But again, there's so many options. I do like that this suspension on gravel bikes is becoming a competitive market again, because this isn't a new thing. They were doing this on road bikes for the Paris-Roubaix early 2000s, I think, maybe even earlier than that. You can find some like full suspension Bianchi road bikes out there from.
I love Bianchi.
Yeah.
So that obviously went away.
Yes.
Would they get too much? Do we do that?
All of that suspension sucked.
Oh, back then
it was bad. It was the elastomers, and just like they were just bouncy and they would dry up and fail.
Yeah. The first level, I mean, like we got suspension in mountain bikes. Oh, let's try it in road bikes, and it's all basically garbage, like coil forks, oiled, everything bad.
Yeah. And so we've gone through a few iterations of that, and we're kind of finally like getting into a spot where people can play around with it a little more without like we have the technology to like
we can rebuild it.
We can rebuild to be able to play around with it, and we can do all the research and figure out the best way to like smooth out that ride.
I'm surprised we don't have, honestly, like, all right, so take the shock whiz, for example. Why don't we have microprocessors? Why can't we build them in the shocks to have them basically a tuning profile, and you can switch it on the fly, like, hey, road profile, mountain profile. So, I mean, we'll give it a little bit more flex. Like I said, we're eventually going to be at that point,
Yeah, so Pinarello actually has I forget the name of their bike, but it was one that they were using. Whatever Team Sky is now, Team Ineos or whatever. They were using this Pinarello with rear suspension, and it does have an electronic component that actually it's essentially the Fox Live valve. That I don't know if we've talked about that yet.
On the fly, basically adjustments.
It kind of figures out.
Ooh, this is trick now. Looking at this,
it kind of figures out what to do with that. Yeah, Dogma FS.
Yeah.
Is that the right one?
KAS and the FS. Here we go.
Yeah,
10 millimeter blue movement.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of suspension, and the ones that they were using had definitely. I never really looked into it deeply, but they had some electronic piece to it that actually was a brain, essentially.
Must be changing valving or rebound settings basically as you go. It's
yes.
getting feedback.
Yeah.
I'm also surprised we haven't seen like the magnetic fluid shocks yet for damping. That might be pretty cool, but it seems all right. So while we're on the topic, I guess it's kind of a tangent, but let's do this. But why are people going back to? Why am I seeing coil fork conversions now all the time? What is why? Why now? We already came back. Coils are crap, right? Everybody, when I start getting into this, don't get a coil, get an air shock. Don't be dumb. You know what happened? What? Why?
Yeah. So
rowdiness. What is? I don't understand.
Yeah, I think it comes down to again riding style. So coils are like the actual physical coil is cheaper to make.
Okay.
So they've gotten a bad rap because all the entry level forks are coil.
I see.
Because they're all cheap.
So you pay $1,000 for one, and it's probably decent.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So as soon as we are in a weird place where for suspension you have coil at the very bottom of the barrel, then you have air in the middle, and then again right back at the top of like the top of the line stuff is going to be a mix of coil and air.
Yeah. I see. Like with an air and a coil chamber, like coil chamber one side and air bladder on the other side.
Yeah, some of that kind of stuff. With a lot of them, all that money is going into the actual damper part. When you get up to the nicer coil stuff, so you're paying the coil itself because you can, like, if you need to get a different weight coil, you just go out and buy that. Those aren't super expensive in the long run. The actual like metal part of the coil, and that's why those cheaper ones are so cheap, is because they're just that metal part, none of the damping.
I see what you're saying. It's probably a super linear coil, straightforward, not like any.
Yeah, it's a slinky.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I had seen MRP makes coil replacement coils with different weightage, which piqued my interest, but I haven't had a complaint with my DVO yet. I haven't really bottomed it out, or it's not really harsh. Ramps up nicely. So, and it does use a combination air bladder on that too, which is super interesting. So I do have it in the rear, but I haven't tried it in the front yet. I'd be interested to see how it's
I think it's the same effect in the front. The other reason they get a bad rap, especially around here, where we have we don't have as many downhills and we have a few of the punchy climbs here and there.
Understatement. Yeah, okay.
The coils are heavier, so I
will say that, yes.
When you're in the racy XC areas, you're definitely going to see people poo-pooing on them quite a bit more.
Yeah, when you catch up to me on the trail because I'm riding my fat, heavy Ritmo coil, you're like, "Oh, I almost got you." And I'm like, "Yeah, you started like a 2 mile back from me, so yeah, you basically got me." Yeah, all right. So, I'm down with different suspension designs in different directions. It's going to push the envelope for a lot of companies, and it gives a lot of variety.
Yeah, it's good to see people having fun with it. Honestly, messing around with it.
Let's get weird with it.
Yeah, that's good. But you were, as we were diving into the Lauf, you mentioned the wolf tooth thing.
Yes. Okay, so the wolf tooth components, EDC here.
Not EDC.
Sorry, that's a trademark. We probably have to edit that out. Huh? I don't know if that's even allowed, but it's a wolf tooth components encase system. So it's basically similar to the 1UP, I guess, where it's an all-in-one multi-tool system. It doesn't just seem to be limited to the multi-tools. It's almost like the entire carrier itself. And the beauty of this looks like is that it's fitting in a drop bar. That's really got me at
Yep.
first. And I was
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty
okay. It looks like it's basically just a flexible linkage. That's kind of these things are kind of touching with, I guess. Like, do you see that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like this kind of like rubber sleeve kind of thing that goes around it.
It has a ton of stuff in it too. It's got
You got a bunch of bits
core.
and stuff.
2.5, which is actually a small one.
You know, spoke wrench.
T10, T25, T30.
Does
Phillips.
it have a chain tool? I don't think so. That's the biggest
How big is
thing.
that?
Oh no, it does.
Oh, where?
It looks like they have a few different styles.
Oh,
here.
a chain. Oh, I see.
Because you can get, you get
one for each side.
You get exactly.
Oh, excellent.
So you there's a chain and tire one, and then there's like a multi-tool one.
How many times have you actually had to plug a tire though? I have a plug kit.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. It's going to happen to me right now.
Exactly. I have never done a plug in my tubeless tires. Usually my tubeless failures are like a razor blade that cuts the tire clean in half. So it's not worth even trying.
Razor blades around here. Yeah. Actually, I have a similar experience. It's either I have catastrophic failures that are basically like it's wrecked.
Nothing's gonna save it. Yeah.
We don't really ride over nails much here.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the terrain, but it's still. I love the idea of just shoving it in
the hand.
either end of the bars. Although, much to my chagrin now, the carbon moron Britmo add-ons are going to prevent me from doing that. Or can I just pack it in there and just kind of mash the other ones on at the end of it? Right?
I don't know.
So then I just screwed myself maybe
That's
slightly.
why we were talking about the bottom bracket stored ones too, the ones that store right in your crank spindle, and those are pretty cool too. There are only a few brands doing that at the moment. I think it was called like I don't even remember.
See, that's a good product. I can remember the name of it.
My friend say it was like Scorpion or something, but that's the bike stands.
Lazine maybe.
They might have one.
Ooh, I have a bone to pick with Scorpion. We should make a note of that one actually. I'm having not a fun. My stand is acting weird. Falling. My bike is just falling off. Let's come back to that. I got to work up the rage on that one. But a friend of mine, Redford, shout to Redford. He picked up the 1-Up EDC and the steer. Was the thread cut kit for the fork? Thought about it. Was like, I don't want to void the warranty of my Fox 36 and my Canyon. I think he's selling it, or he sold it somewhere. I want to say, and he got the stem kit. I want to say he got now, so he's trying that. He is like a sucker for like on bike tool store. Like we've been screwed a couple times.
So like
we've needed it. You know what I mean? It's come in handy, and like I've been screwed because I didn't have tools at the park a couple times, and now I'm kind of like
it's nice to just have them on you at all times,
like the bike MacGyver.
Yeah, exactly. Just have it with you all the time.
I don't see a price point on this. Do you see it?
They usually put it at the bottom. Let me see here.
Because if it's ridiculous, I mean, it's going to be. This is a lot of stuff. Oh, individual products sell for $49.99 for each. $49.95 for each tool.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Plus $35 each for the storage sleeves. So the whole kit is $119.95.
That's actually not bad for
all that stuff. Think about that.
All of that, yeah.
You get a crank. Basically, how much is a good multi tool? $25-$30.
Yeah.
Chain breakers, $20. Like that stuff adds up.
Yeah, it ends up being even like the plug kit.
Yeah, that's true too. Right?
Is like
$15 for that.
Yeah.
Also, I hate my plug kit because it's heavy metal, and this fits in perfectly. And you can take it between bikes. It's not limited. You can pop the bar ends off and you pull it between bikes. That's the genius part of it. You're not cutting into anything. You don't need to keep it on a single bike. You know.
The other one that I always liked the looks of, but didn't really catch on, was the i9. Industry 9 made one called the Matchstick.
Really?
The Matchsticks.
And they were bar.
That was axle. So your through axle would carry like all the little bits and like a little like master link and that kind of stuff. And that was a kind of cool little idea. Unfortunately, it's really expensive.
$145 just for that one thing? Wow.
Yep.
I mean, I guess it's probably aluminum, but come on.
Yeah.
It looks slick though.
Look at like the end of the actual lever is the chain tool, which is kind of cool. Like they put a lot of thought into it. And it's a really
well
cool
engineered.
System. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like everything by i9, but that is.
But it's another one of those things that you can get it in all the different colors, which is kind of cool.
That's definitely. Oh, let's check this out. Green for the Ripmo. Let's see.
But it's tricky for a lot of like, for instance, I probably wouldn't be able to get it on my bike. On my like,
you have a 112 front axle, I think it was.
Yeah, for like some of my gravel bikes, like I don't think I could put this on them just because this one's made as a mountain bike one.
Gotcha.
So that limits their industry a little bit. Yeah.
Also, it looks like a bag or sheath for those.
Yep.
I would definitely probably break that. Looks like
yes,
that's instantly gone. But that's a cool idea. I want to get more into that.
I love these little like integrated storage solution ideas. Even like all the specialized SWAT box stuff.
Oh, God, I want that so bad.
The all new Trek Fuel.
Trek has that now?
The Trek has.
What are they calling it?
Trek Fuel has.
Stowaway, something cool.
I don't remember. It's not called the SWAT box.
Hide your crap. You are. Don't call it the SWAT box. Yeah.
Don't call it the SWAT box.
As much as people talk trash on Specialized, I'm not going to mention names, but I don't have anything against them. I like them. I had a Specialized, and I was kind of jealous of that for a while. I have basically zero on bike storage now. I use a strap kit on the top and a multi-tool in like a pack. And I would definitely like to figure something out a little bit more permanent. That's why I'm looking at those wolf tooth bar ends. And they make basically all their components are pretty good too. So I need to get something going with that because you guys are sketching me out about getting stuck somewhere. I mean, luckily we've been with like 5 people with like literally we could probably build multiple bikes between the tools between us, like somebody's got like an extra crank somehow still, so I'm not too in a rush, but this is something that I'm thinking probably going to be.
Yeah, it'd be cool to try out.
All right,
you had one more on there. You had been snooping around Instagram. I think you saw this on.
Yeah, somebody on Instagram posted this. A couple of people I saw with really no details except just kind of a pretty bike. I like it's Marin's. I guess you said it was the Rift Zone Carbon.
Yes.
So
brandy new.
I'm a fan of Marin. I have a Marin cheap low end Marin hardtail, but I was heavily looking at a lot of their bikes there. And they just came out came out with this, announces it out?
Yeah, so they've been doing, Marin did carbon for a little while. I don't know, 5-6 years ago now.
Yeah.
They've been largely out of the carbon game for a little bit. I think they didn't have as much success with the carbon back then as they wanted to. So now they've been focusing on like their kind of entry level aluminum game. They're really strong as far as the price points go on that. Like they're hitting a bunch of those bikes out of the park, whether it's their mountain bikes. The Hawk Hill and the Rift Zone have been phenomenally popular.
They look gorgeous too. I love the paint schemes and the
they've been doing a great job with all the graphics and stuff. So now they're trying to make another push into that carbon world. And it's not a bad looking bike.
I mean, we have some people saying that they have issues with the con is the fork. It's got a Fox 34 Performance with the grip damper. I don't really think that's a negative in that bike. Maybe.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
Is it what is it a target at? I mean, it's what? Is it enduro here?
The Rift Zone is going to be like I want to say it's a 130, 120. So it's like an
bike,
XC/trail.
Yeah.
Kind of
on
like
the lower end of trail.
On the lower end of trail, yeah. Which is that's again super popular kind of travel for around here.
This reminds me kind of like how the Ibis Ripley would be set up, something like that. Weight wise.
Similar idea, yeah.
Ooh, now that you're talking, I would love to pedal one of these around and see how that suspension, that rear suspension.
I would say that the Marin looks a little more just because it's got it looks a little slacker than the Ripley, like a little more trail oriented than the Ripley, but I could be wrong.
I love the way that seat stay looks too. It's deceptively looks like it bends, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah, it's a neat little bike. Definitely.
I was looking at the AL Rift Zones before.
Yes.
I don't think they offered enough. It was too much of a in between and not enough over the salsa for me to feel justified.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But man, I still want was it the Alcatraz?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna buy
their
one
dirt
of those
jump
one
bike
of these
is
days.
awesome.
I'm gonna hurt myself on it.
Awesome.
I'm telling you right now. It's gonna be next spring. I'm kind of glad there's not any big pump track things around
here.
Yeah,
the Pine Hills. I guess that segues us right into. Let me cue the
segue clip.
Theme,
Boom.
the theme music here.
Yeah. Ready, go.
Remember, concentrate on the moment. Feel, don't think. Use your instincts.
The topic of this week, the main topic, is Pine Hills. We're both recently there, and we figured that why not do a more recent experience while it's still fresh in our minds, because we can always go back and do past stuff, but it might be a neat better format to kind of stick to the most recent event that we kind of thought of. So this is a place that I haven't been to in a long time. I was there last fall and over the last summer on my Fuse hardtail, my 27 plus hardtail.
I remember those days.
And that was, oh my God, that was something else on that thing, put it that way. I went back in the salsa a couple times, but I still wasn't as experienced as I am now. Going back again, it was way more rewarding than I thought it would be, You got there earlier than we did, right?
Yeah.
You'd already done some laps.
Yeah, I did. I ended up doing I think 10 miles there that day.
That's a good amount of distance.
And it was, I the way I keep saying it is I went there not knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
And it was not at all what I expected.
That's a great way of putting that. And so had you ever been there before?
I had not been there, no.
Your first time, and you went with a group that they knew, right?
They kind of knew. Yeah. We kind of had to do a little bit of troubleshooting here and there. Fortunately, I had my Garmin, so I had all the trail maps on there and stuff.
Plug for Garmin. That thing is sweet, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Which one is the 8?
I've got the 830, so I can see all the trails on it, which is really cool. I don't know if it's linked up with Trail Forks, or I can link it up with Trail Forks. I know that much.
Oh, super jelly. Garmin might just have it in their stuff built in, right?
But anyway, the first trail we did, which I know that you did. I know that you did that one when we were riding a little bit. Shady Acres, which is a good wake up call.
Let's talk about that, right?
It was for us XC guys that were riding in the morning. It was probably not the best trail to start out on.
So you guys went actually and sought that out.
Not quite on purpose, I don't think.
Kind of ended up there.
And this is
there's a hike a bike going on there, huh?
Oh yeah. It was. It's a cool trail, but for us, again, for SXC guys, it's feature, and a little overwhelming the first time you go through it, because especially when it's the first trail you're doing there, because you think the whole place is like that.
And you were on a 120, right? You were pushing
120, 100. So that's an XC bike.
It's probably pushing that for there, the maximum.
Yeah.
We were checking it out. We did the blue on this side, the Cleft Rock DH, and we went back up. We lost somebody at the power lines, Redford. No,
yes.
We're not going to mention any names, Redford. Eventually found him and got back up, and we went to take a look at Shady Acres. And despite Riley saying many warnings of you guys it
being
different.
shady.
Yeah, super shady, but it kind of blew us away when we got there,
Yeah.
Some of the beginning rock features were actually fairly we'll get up, and it was a couple tries to get down. It was actually really cool. But that was one of the only times around here locally that I felt like, wow, I'm glad I have all of this travel here. Don't get me wrong, there's been times when I've screwed up and it's been nice to absorb a hit, but that bike was made with something like this in mind.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about it being locals it doesn't fit in at all with any of the local stuff we have.
No.
It's so different. And that's what kind of it was very odd to go from say Massasoit to that.
Now, have you ever been down more of the Cape at all? Like anything like the Otis? Yeah.
Yep.
And it still stands out as
absolutely
right.
Yeah.
So I would definitely, if anybody's thinking about it around the fence, get out now before we have a good coating of snow, because it wasn't that bad. It was kind of blown out and they were working.
Get out today. You won't be able to hear this today because today it's beautiful outside right now.
It's Thursday the 21st. It's 50 something right now?
Yeah. It's beautiful.
This is 40.
So get out now, even though now is probably a week from now when you're listening to this.
Yeah, and it's going to be covered in snow by the time we get there too. You know what I didn't do actually? I saw on the maps that we didn't check out was a jump line.
Yes.
We saw Temple of Doom. I don't know if I don't know if we did that. No, did we? We came back up that fire road. I think we saw Temple of Doom looking down kind of that from that way. I think that's what that was. But we didn't go up that. Was that the one with the suspension?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's the suspension.
I don't
bridge
know
we're at
any of
least
the
telling
names.
about.
Yeah, there's a suspension bridge that was really cool.
Makes it sound like
There's all
Pirates of the
sorts
Caribbean.
of cool stuff in there. But the nice thing is that the majority, if not all of these features, do have the workarounds. So like, again, for us XC guys, we just didn't do the suspension bridge because we didn't want to die.
Yeah. There was a couple of us that were, I mean, we're all at similar levels of skill, I'd say, but it was basically like a pick your own adventure multi-bike trip.
Yeah.
Like a couple of us had enduro bikes.
I would say like the only exception to being able to work around stuff would be Shady Acres, which has workarounds, but they are just by their nature trickier workarounds than like the rest of the park, for lack of a better word.
A lot of them were, I found that the workarounds were almost sketchier because it was a slower speed and it was much more risk of slowly top
Yes.
personally.
Yeah.
I'm much more comfortable at speed. That bike's much more comfortable at speed. So yeah, there was some moments where it was kind of a pucker factor there for a lot of us. There's some videos of us, a couple of us. I think Kevin was the most bold that day with his who's he on? Jeffsy. He's on YT Jeffsy.
Yes. Yep.
He was going down basically everything. I don't know what it was. He was possessed that day, but a lot of us were like, "Yeah, no, I don't have a full phase. We have a trail helmet. Like, I'm not going to mess with this." I cannot wait to go back there in the summer when those trails are blown out and it's tackier, because that little downhill run was kind of quick, but the amount of leaves on it it slowed you down slightly, and you can't hit it as much confidence. It's really
you can definitely see like there's the downhill park inspiration there.
Yeah,
because a lot of these trails have been built like to get you down and then get you back up with ease, so you can go back down again, and then come up and then go back down. And then there is a whole like section that we did that's pretty darn flat and flowy.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
A few little like rocks here and there, but nothing crazy on that side.
I'm disappointed we didn't do the outlook and didn't see the nuke plant in the water from that cool little area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's such an odd place.
We weren't glowing after we left,
Yes.
by the way. It's been, I think it's decommissioned a couple years ago.
That's another thing that's like it's an odd collection of trails to begin with, and then you look down and there is a nuclear power plant right there.
Like straight out of The Simpsons kind of thing.
Yes.
Like, okay. But people have talked about this and I kind of for some reason dismissed it a lot. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I hadn't been there in a while with a decent ride that I could experience it, you know?
Well, I had always heard, again, as more of an XC kind of guy, I like to keep the wheels on the ground for the most part. Like I had always heard about the features and stuff, and I was like, all right, I'll cross that one off the list. I don't really need to go. But I'm definitely glad I went, because there's some, as much as like the features are a big part of it, especially like right out of the parking lot, there are features everywhere that you can hit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those trails are just fun to just kind of ride around on.
Would you go back? You go back?
Yeah, absolutely. I would go back to do some more exploring, not so much the features.
Okay, so speaking of exploring, the entire, I don't know if you'd call this, what side is this? It's lower side? It's not really south, is it?
Yeah, there's like I would call it like an east and a west side.
Yeah,
across what is it, Route 3A there?
Across 3A, across behind Sirius Cycles, there is a trail.
There's more stuff back there.
Right?
I have heard
Enduro, bro? Oh my
that
gosh. What's that?
I've heard that it is not as well maintained on that other side.
Oh.
But I'm sure that people still ride that, and that it's still pretty darn good stuff over there.
I want to check that out. You can see the elevation gradients and the trail forks online, which is really, really nice. I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
I don't put that in the maps either. But looks like there's a black diamond. There's a black, what's classified here as a black. How long is that? It's a 2 mile black. That looks pretty serious. So I need to get over that side and check it out too. That looks like it might be more of a slog, like you said, like not as
not as centralized.
gravity
I don't think over
orientated
there.
or centralized, you know.
Yeah.
Because this had basically a small nexus area where you could branch out and kind of take off to a bunch of different places with a bunch of different fire roads back. It was really, really nice.
Yeah.
And also there is, when you climb back up the evacuation route, we took the evacuation route back up, at least I did, and I found some really cool wooden features. There's a lot of just that were entirely doable on a lot of bikes. There weren't, drops. They were just large wooden, ups and downs, rollers and everything like that. And it was actually kind of cool off to the side. Man, I wish I would have gone this morning. Now I want to go this morning. I should have went this morning. Yeah. Freaking hands are messed up though, man. I can't go. I didn't want to risk it, Like,
yeah, it looks like it's another one of those places that you look on a map and you're like, oh, there are roads all around it. It can't be that big, but it looks like
right.
It looks like a lot of stuff out there.
And it was close. Everybody loved it too. It was close.
Pieces we haven't even touched. So definitely another spot to kind of put on the list to get back out to and check out the nuclear plant.
Also, I've rarely looked at trail forks on the computer online. This is a lot more information than in the browser than on the phone. Oh my gosh. I need to do this more often and check stuff out. Like, what is this? Everything's completely marked off here. Yeah, this is great. I want to go back. Everybody else wants to go back too. That was the first time for a lot of them that they had been there. The other, people, the crew we had been with was there. And,
first time I've been there.
They loved it too.
Cool.
Met a lot of cool people there too. There's a lot of
there was a big crew that day.
Whoever it was that was out there trail building, I don't know if it was a local Nebuchad, but thank you to those guys for actually putting in the work. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, there were some people like actually actively working on trails like that morning.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
They were flagging it. They were guiding us. Basically followed the orange loop. It's about a 10-mile loop.
Yep. Yeah, it's all really well marked.
Shout to those
guys. There's like
a
loop marked out. That's pretty cool.
Putting their time and their effort, They weren't even routing. They were just hooking stuff back out,
A lot of work has been put into that place.
I don't know.
It's all pretty fresh, I think. So it's definitely a kind of an up and coming place. It looks like, I don't know, Ed, if you're gonna be posting this video on the lift talk.
Yeah.
Looks like we got some videos.
Yeah. Let's see.
I saw some pictures from there too.
Yeah, let's get I'll put some up there.
Up on
there's a gigantic bridge that we're working on. I'll shut the volume off.
Oh yeah, that's what this video is, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is so there was a different suspension bridge, but this one is literally a massive 50-foot bridge up to the top of a giant rock. You can hear me freaking out about it in that, because I can't even. How do you get up it? I feel like I'm just going to instantly fall. I don't know. And then you basically supposed to go down it. It looks super cool. The guy said he just found the rope. And he's like, I'm trying to bring it out here to do this. And I'm like, man, okay. And it leads into some kind of cool kicker rock,
Yeah.
So it looks safe-ish. I mean, they were walking on it, as you can see.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I want to go back and check it out. I don't know. I want to climb up and go down from each side maybe first before I can actually try to attempt actually climbing up, because I feel like I'm just going to literally just fall directly off the thing, right? I mean, look at that. Look how cool but sketch that looks.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a good kind of summation of what's out there.
Cool sketch.
There's a lot of little stuff, and then there's a lot of the big stuff for the big dogs to play on.
And even that photo of
the
ramp. You see the ramp on that rock? My friend Dubin's pointing off of it. You basically just need to hit that at speed, and it's going to be fine. But it looks, obviously
terrifying.
The look in real life, it's always worse,
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us did that one that day. I think we took the alternate on the side, which was actually, again, it might have been even sketchier because the separation you can see between the rocks, and it's just waiting to eat and stop your front wheel.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! By the way, I will say that I've been using that bike more and more, and it absolutely destroyed this. It ate everything up. Did everything I needed it to do, and I didn't. The only time I felt out of the comfort zone was when I was going slower down stuff. It got tech like that.
Yep.
Also, there was a couple of times. Oh, I want to address. I think I bashed my derailleur at some point. I have to go back and take a look at it. There's a piece of plastic missing off the bottom.
Oh.
And I think that's probably a bash mark. And assuming that's why it's dropping chains now, because it's not a line it's bent.
Which does bring us to bike court.
I wish I had the gavel noise. Chong chong. We'll do the Law and Order. Put that in there. Boom. So
all rise.
Riley had this idea, and we're going to do this, I think, for periodically as bike court. And we're going to put basically things that rob us of time on our bikes on trial for being absolutely ridiculous and super annoying. So mine today was I'm putting on chain drops on trial because
they suck.
Oh my God. And I think it might be a thing that I'm not used to because the Shimano 1x11 on the Salsa was money. I've had 2 drops. I guess the major drop I've had with that basically locked up and sent me OTB, I guess, which
that was when you were downhilling, right?
Super not ideal. But this one has been what did it like crazy the other day. There was one that really stood out in my mind was Kevin and Maura had stopped and we were looking at a rock feature to go up, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go for it and hit it and pump up this thing and pull up and climb it, right? And I go to put the power down running up to it, and all of a sudden the chain drops and my legs just kind of
just spin,
go forward.
You're going.
I'm off the front seat forward into the tube, and the whole bike lifts to the rear because I've hit the brakes for I don't know why. Never do that. Like never use the brakes, and I just tilt completely up on my nose. Terrifying. Reset the chain, it was fine, and then 3 or 4 more times randomly would just be putting power down and then just
something's up.
That is the most demoralizing thing too when you're at the point of your stroke. But I do have a hanger. I've just been I hate saying this. I've just been lazy and haven't done it yet. I'm like, it's a little bit, it's be fine. But and every time it happens, I kind of hate myself a little bit for not doing it. So I think maybe, I'm not doing anything. Maybe I should take a look at it today on the porch. Yeah. Probably just give
it a look. See,
I think actually I'm just going to pull and put the new one on, and then maybe
just give it a whirl. Yeah,
see what it looks like on a flat pen.
Yeah, this is as much as yes, like this is on trial right now. This was definitely more of a thing when there were 2x and 3x in the woods.
Oh God,
that is for sure. Because that has always sucked.
I can't imagine messing with the front derailleur, especially the ones that are add-ons that aren't like part of the bike. So basically it's like, let me it cranked slightly after I hit a rock.
You got to make sure it's lined up all the time.
I'll stick with my 1x basically on everything now, I think.
Even on a road bike, and road bikes they aren't getting beat up that much, but yeah, I've gotten pretty used to over the years just kind of like pedaling very softly to hopefully let it get back on the chain ring.
It's a good technique.
Just kind of look down and pray.
Pray to God it rolls back. You can feel that tension increase, and you're like, I'm good. You know what? I'd take a 1x road bike with a 92-3 over a front derailleur and switching that up.
Absolutely. Yeah,
100%. Now, question to you. Actually, you will know this. It does have ISCG mounts.
Yeah,
mounting. Well, it's an add-on tab mount, right?
Yeah.
Between is it a Dub BB? No, it's not. Is it?
Yeah.
BB, yeah. And it's kind of sandwiched between that almost.
Yep.
Now, is the chain guy going to help me at all if the derailleur is bent? Probably not. It's going to keep slipping off, right?
It'll help you a little bit.
Really? So, so maybe I should start looking into something like that.
Yeah.
Huh? Any recommendations for anything good?
We've always liked the MRP ones.
MRP chain guys?
MRPs have always been. They've got like a bash guard. They've got a few bash guards and one of the combo like bash guard chain guide things.
A bash. Now, I would be slightly worried about a bash guard being mounted on a bottom bracket as I beat the piss out of that thing sometimes. Like, and is that cause any issues if I crack that on something good and it's going to be transferred basically not to the frame?
No, on that one, I don't think so.
You know, they set up decently.
The whole point of those is they kind of try to dissipate the load, right? That's why they're mounted on like they have like 3 tabs instead of just being like directly onto the frame.
So some sort of flex to kind of prevent the energy.
They kind of do a pretty good job of dissipating it.
Maybe I'm gonna look into that then.
Yeah.
They have color matching. Can I get orange? MRP. Let's check that out. Right?
MRP's colors are orange actually, so you might be in luck. I don't know.
I wonder if it'll,
like
nothing matches. Nothing
orange
ever
bolt
matches.
or something. I don't know.
Hate it. Ibis, give me the color code so I can make everybody else match these things. Oh, the Enduro one looks insane. That looks extremely heavy.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
106 grams. So how many pounds is that?
That's actually not that bad.
I thought it'd be 200 or 300. That'd be like a heavy duty.
Yeah,
that's
6 ain't bad.
The Enduro. Why would you get the all mountain over the Enduro? It kind of makes there's almost no trade off. All right, so maybe I'm gonna look into that. I have a 30. I think I have a 32 tooth up front. 30 to this fits a 30 to 34 T.
Yeah, it wouldn't be necessary if not for those fucking chain drops.
Oh God. I guess it's kind of my fault though. So what am I even complaining about? This one's kind of on me. I'm putting myself on trial. That is self. Damn it! I just incriminated myself. Or perjured myself. I don't know. I did something bad legally.
Plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth. Yeah, just like everybody else. I do not recall. What is? I like the all mountain one actually over the enduro one. I don't think I need. I mean, I do park it a lot, but I think the trail all mountain one should be fine. It's 10 G's lighter. Doesn't really matter to me at 10 grams. Honestly, if you're complaining about weight when you're putting a chain guide on,
That's true.
you probably have the wrong style bike.
Yeah.
You know? Which is, I mean, I'm not a huge weight weenie on mine. It's already an aluminum bike. Oh,
yeah.
Another thing that we're going to be annoyed about chain drops here, by the way, which is, oh God, it pisses me off thinking about it. I'm riding and it's like, oh, Redford's, I hear him chiming in behind me. Oh, hey, Ed. Did you have any chain drops again? Because I see the giant chip in your chainstay. And I'm like, shut up. Shut up. I see it.
The mark.
It still stings every
Marked
time.
for life.
Oh, God. I got to put I put a little piece of plastic over it. Not that it matters now. They're going to pick up some paint from Ibis soon.
Yeah.
Hey, Chuck. Chuck, do you guys have the Ritmo red yet? Let me know, buddy. All right. Chuck Ibis.
Drop us a line.
We're on a first name basis. He emails me directly now. He might email you directly too.
Chuck it, Ed.
Yeah. So, are you going to put anything on trial this week or what? Do you have any, horrendous offenders?
Horrendous offenders.
Anything? Lately?
Well, actually,
here we go. Launching into something.
Stand up! Get up! You too, Mr. Tully. Find you guilty on all charges. Order you to pay fines in the amount of $25,000 each. I sent you to 18 months in the city correctional facility at Rikers Island.
Edie, she's twitching.
I'm not finished! On a more personal note, let me just go on record as saying that there's no place for fake charlatans.
Your Honor?
Shut up! Tricksters like you in decent society.
Your Honor, this is important.
You play on the gullibility of innocent people.
Yes, sir.
Be quiet.
But
My hands were tied by the unalterable fetters of the law, and I would invoke the tradition of our illustrious forebears. Reach back to a purer, sterner justice, and have you burned at the stake.
I think first we have to find what have we found in the case of Ed versus chain drops?
It's
here?
all right. So the verdict. What is the conclusion here? Is that it's actually my fault, and that I can't put chain drops on trial right now because this is a result of my own stupidity.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
So it's a mistrial. It's a mistrial.
Good timing on that.
All right. Bailiff, please escort the offender out of the courtroom.
I wish we had somebody to actually just make me leave the room for being an idiot. Yeah. So in the case of the people versus chain drops, we find chain drops by default not guilty via mistrial.
To be tried at a later date.
Yeah, we'll get you, buddy.
We'll get you.
We know you did.
We'll get those. Yeah. Come on.
I'm not even gonna make an OJ
off
joke.
on a technicality.
I'm getting pretty angry. All right, so they got off. Do you have anything you want to kind of condemn here while we're here?
Since we're talking about Pine Hills.
Oh God,
you mentioned like a black diamond trail. Ooh. I would like to put on trial trail difficulties.
Ooh, I like this. We think we briefly touched on this.
Yes.
Yes. Explain this.
They make no sense. They make no sense.
Give me an example.
All right. So at Pine Hills.
All right, we're going to Pine Hills.
Again, they mark the trails off, like really well. And then they do this marking of the features to let you know if it's going to be an easy feature or a more difficult feature. And it's nice because a lot of the features you can't see the other side when you're coming up to it. So they mark it
Yes.
green. You're like, okay, I can handle this one. And then they mark one blue. And it's like intermediate. I can still probably handle this one. But Those blues, I would say I'm an intermediate rider.
I would say firmly in that
I
category.
would say, yeah.
You're being modest, but yes. Okay.
All right. I am so glad I didn't try any of those blues because I would have died.
You're not wrong.
I would have died.
You're not wrong.
Like those blues, some of those blues were blacks.
That was gnarly.
And maybe they just didn't have black spray paint. But
That is.
but I still take issue with
Oh my
the
God.
trail difficulty idea as a whole because it's so relative to where you are and who's riding it, and it's
It's so subject, I guess. To
yeah, it's so
personally.
subjective.
Like all right. So for example, if anybody that's actually works in tagged Pine Hill is listening to this, hit us up at Lift Talk Podcast on Instagram.
You can
let
plead
us-
your case.
Yeah, you're on trial. Did you actually run out of? I would love if they ran out of spray paint, dude. That would be so.
Yeah,
funny.
if you just didn't have black spray paint, that's another story. It's still annoying, but it's
That being said, you know what I did
not
like?
the death penalty.
It was marked both ways.
Yes,
So
I did like that. That was
some
cool.
were green one way, and death maybe another way.
Death
You-
the other way.
But it was cool to see that back, and I've never seen that anywhere else back and forth. Not
Yeah.
like, can I do this?
It was a
no.
very nice touch, especially for around here, to
Oh
be
my
like
God.
marking the difficulties like that.
Right?
Because that is, again, around here, pretty much unheard of unless you're at like a full-on mountain bike park.
Yeah.
Um,
And I've been to some places
But
around here like they could have used
I
it.
take issue with the difficulty ratings at mountain bike parks too.
All right, we've
Just
touched
in
on this
general.
briefly before, I think. But
I think we did.
there's such a giant. Nobody knows basically what's what. There's a black to somebody, could be a blue to this enduro bro that
Yes.
built this trail.
Yeah.
And I found that I think as a whole, mountains are kind of not individual trails maybe, but entire mountains are different. So blue at Thunder is a little bit more hardcore than maybe a blue at say Highland or something.
Well, it
like that.
depends too on like there's a blue jump trail, but then there's a blue tech trail, and those are two completely different animals. Like I can probably do the tech trail, but I'm not doing the jump trail. I'm not a jumpy kind of guy.
Yeah,
So it comes down to again that personal subjectivity there.
that's true.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing is the relativity between like I'll go to say Kingdom Trails, and there are trails up there that I'm pretty sure are marked black that are definitely like blue or even green.
Dude, you've had that on some of the
Yes.
even some of the Moose Alley. No, like they'd be a hard blue
Yeah.
if they were basically anywhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know how that really
And
works.
I think
though.
I think it's just because like each park is going to take their hardest thing and make that a black. So say we're on say we're in a golf course and there's one hill and that's the only hill. That hill is the hardest hill, so that's going to be marked black. It doesn't matter if it's just a grassy hill that we're just riding down. It's going to be marked black because it's the hardest thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, nobody's gonna be like, we have no blacks, it's all blues. 'Cause
Exactly,
Admit that
exactly,
kind of.
yeah,
Is it
yeah.
like a pride thing?
I don't know. But I think they probably take their most difficult thing, rate it black, and then go from there.
You're probably right. Wow, I would do that. I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, so all right. So
But it's so weird to go from like Thunder Mountain, where black is something that I'm never going to touch because it will kill me, and then go to Kingdom Trails, where apparently I'm riding on blacks all day.
flowy ones too. Right?
Yes, and they're awesome, and
Yeah.
they're definitely not.
Not
Black.
anywhere comparable to that. Which I will say, I want to bring this part up, but Trillium at Thunder Mountain, this is blue. I feel like it's beyond. I feel like it's the opposite. This one's flipped. Like that's a.
You think that one's a black?
Oh, that's either that or that's the hardest blue plus like that you can get.
Blue
before.
plus. I can see blue plus.
Oh my god, it's some.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, some of those
I
blacks
love
there.
Trillium.
Black.
Anyway, that
You
was
love
last
that.
week. Oh no, that's coming up.
We'll save that one.
We'll talk about that.
But there's no really way to cure that because you can't really come to a general consensus. So it's more of like you have to just take that into account.
Take a relative scale and try to,
you know, like you said, the blacks down here. Okay, let me check this out. Oh my god, you know what I mean? Like some of these are dead. Yeah, that's something that's been super annoying. So I mean, who can defend that? It's on trial. What are we gonna do? Hopefully, maybe somebody can actually come in and be
You
like,
can call in the guys at Highland and Thunder to like battle it out or something. I don't know.
I would love to
Have
actually
a death match.
That would be super interesting, actually, to get somebody that's in charge of setting that up and actually pick their brain about why and how they do that.
A lot of places are trying to like standardize it.
Yeah.
Like I think the biggest one that I know of is singletracks.com.
Okay.
They were doing like a universal rating, and they had this guide for rating trails. But even the guide was flawed. I want to pull up the guide here.
Go ahead, actually. Now, do you ski or snowboard?
I do not.
I found that this is also in this, rampant, and it's kind of interesting. Like maybe if they haven't solved it by this point, there's really not going to be. It's just an individual basis, and it just has to be how it is. I like how single tracks actually, like you said, is kind of make an overarching comparison as opposed to basically singular.
Yeah, they're trying to make it universal. So here are their trail difficulty rating systems. Oh, this is actually courtesy of IMBA, so International Mountain Biking Association.
Oh, thanks, IMBA.
Has made this this rating system.
I donated to IMBA.
Yeah,
so you're welcome.
They're a worthy cause. They've been working on access all over the place.
They're also worthy because I got expert voice through them. So I don't know if I should even mention that. I mean, it comes with it. So
nice.
It's a pretty sweet discount program.
Do you want the do you want a link to that?
Throw it up there. Let's do this.
Let me see.
Collaborative
where
mode.
Where can I put it?
Just dump it.
I'll put it right here.
Excellent.
There you go. There you go.
Google spreadsheets. Google Sheets. I love this. This is great.
Yeah. So here's our trail difficulty rating system. All right. The part I take the most issue with here is the first category that they put on here is trail width.
Okay.
And that, in my mind, has very little to do with difficulty.
So, I mean, when I say trail width, a wide trail, it's almost like a fire road, right?
Exactly. So here you're essentially talking about the difference between double track and single track, right?
Okay.
To get, like, they're talking about this many inches, like, I don't feel like that makes it relevant. Like,
I've gone down small single tracks that are
easy,
fast and blue and nothing,
Yeah.
So that's kind of
there's
a bunk
some
criteria,
like wide ones that are like sketchy as hell.
I do like the tread surface variety though.
The tread surface, yeah, yep.
Because that's obviously the looser you get, the sketchier it gets.
Yes. Yeah. So that one kind of checks out. The grade kind of makes sense.
Yes.
As far as like steepness goes. The other one is
this is a very
they talk about like the technical trail features and stuff and how high they might be.
15 inches of greater.
They talk about like avoidable obstacles and unavoidable bridges and how wide these bridges would be. And I guess down on this stuff, it's like it's a good kind of like guide to figure out. But I'm not.
What about reds?
I'm not sold on it. Huh?
What's up with reds?
Reds?
Why don't I see red somewhere? What's a red? Is it a French double black free ride?
I think it's like
Deathline, Bloodline.
I think it's like worse than double black.
It's the max, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't even have that one on here.
Like you have to be helicoptered up.
It's like the red black. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not even on there, I guess. I've seen it at some places though.
I do like what they're. I get what they're trying to do. I get what they're trying to do, but I do take issue with this because it's trying to standardize something that is pretty clearly not standard.
I mean, that's the biking industry in a nutshell, isn't it? I mean, shouldn't we just all be trying to do that, right?
But anyway, that's who I'm putting on trial this week. If anyone would like to come on and defend trail ratings,
that would be interesting. If anybody out there has a
trail ratings,
an alternative,
they are open to do so.
Give them good legal defense.
Know that I am basically a lawyer.
Yeah, bike lawyer.
Graduated bike lawyer school.
Bike law. Look out, he's coming for you. So you better have your documents stapled and in order.
Yes. Yeah. I'm expecting a lot of paper clips.
So I would like to hear an opposing viewpoint,
folders.
though. I want to see somebody actually bring a good argument with that.
Yeah. Someone convinced me that this system is working.
or propose an alternate possible. Yeah. I don't know how. But if somebody's smarter than me.
How can we make it so that I can go to any of these places that I've just mentioned and know what I'm getting into, because I can have a vague idea, but it's definitely not as it should be at the moment.
Like everything, pre-ride and look ahead.
Yes.
Never just blindly send unless you're certain people.
Take that feature might not be blue.
Yeah. I would love to. I would love if it was the spray paint. Like we just ran out.
It just ran out of
Whatever.
black
Just
spray
use the
paint.
blue. It'll be good enough. Some guys like grinning in the back. Just someone's gonna get it.
If I had been out there with spray paint, there would be so many like smiley faces and stuff on everything.
All the dead
telling you.
tree. Oh, I would like to bring this up too. There is. I'll see if I can post a video of this, but we didn't really catch it on tape. I leaned my aluminum bike against a tree. And the tree was obviously dead at some point, but it toppled the tree over. And my fat aluminum bike freaking wrecked the tree. And I'm like, this is a fat joke. Everyone's making fun of me how heavy this bike is with a coil, and it just knocked a tree over.
That's awesome.
Pathetic.
Now you have to plant one.
Oh, God, to make up for it.
Yes.
I had basil going this year. Does that count? But I ate it.
Oh.
So it's not, I mean, it fueled
No,
me.
that doesn't count.
Damn.
You need a carbon offset.
Oh,
You
do I
need to go
need
carbon
double?
neutral. Yeah.
Wait, if I don't, all right. We have another carbon offsets for carbon bikes too, right? Because they have to plant double because it takes twice as much to manufacture carbon. So at least I'm on an AL bike. I'll just plant one tree.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You're fine.
I did also, a friend of ours that we ride sometimes, Maura has a carbon Ritmo, the straight carbon Ritmo. I got to literally just pick it up for a second. It is a significant difference. It's
Yes.
not,
Yeah.
put it this way, it's not something that's like mind blowing as much as the center of, it feels like it's just not as center heavy, like, as if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And you could definitely tell like the wheels were absolutely like carbon gems, like completely different beast. Geo might be very, very similar. Just a different animal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish we could have just maybe switched. I don't know how tall she is. Probably that bike's, I think, pretty. The inseam was like 32-ish. It was probably would have matched. I would have been interested to see
Pretty close.
someone's opinion from an air shock on the same frame compared to back with a coil.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to have seen like what somebody would have thought, but I mean, they both shredded. I don't really see too much of an issue, you know. Like I said, you can overcome everything with legs, I guess, you know, and willpower. Yeah, that place was great, man. I'm like reminiscing back in my brain about it now, looking at the photos of it, and I'm like, I want to go back again now. When can I get back?
Let's go right now.
Oh, let's do it. It's going to be nice this weekend.
I think so.
I'm going to go this weekend.
Mhm.
This is not going to be out. I wish. All right. So anybody who wants to come on down, but it's not going to be.
It's not going to be.
Do you know what I mean? All right. So why not just talk a little bit shop here while we're at it? Because
All right. Yeah. So we'll declare. All right. So that trial, we'll close that trial.
Okay. Well, I will believe it for continuation.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. I think guilty, but
Wow. Already. All right.
able to be appealed.
Jeez,
We'll leave it there.
It's a rough court here.
Well, I mean, I'm the judge and I'm also the plaintiff.
So Judge Dredd, basically.
Yes.
And executioner.
Yes.
All right, that's fair.
So-
get somebody on here. Let's see. I want some
Yeah. If
opinions on
someone.
this. At Lift Talk Podcast on Instagram.
Yep.
I'll have an email set up as well at lifttalkpodcast@gmail.com. Super easy and free. So yeah, drop us a line on that one.
Sound of the gavel. Do our outro music.
Night Court.
Dun, 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 dun. Something like that. All right.
I like the ad lib right there. We should leave that one in and just keep that as the clip and use that clip for like later on. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting how this is gonna get chopped up and to hear it. But man, I'm just gonna release them after this. We're gonna get them out there.
Yeah.
This is more of like I kind of wanted the idea of editing everything perfectly, but it doesn't. I like it just doing it, man. It's kind of flowy, whatever. Let's just get it out there. Maybe people hate my voice, so it'll be easier. Also, I feel like I wasn't talking directly into this the whole time either. So, but I feel like
close can you get?
That's what I'm
to the
saying. Right?
mic?
We're testing.
We'll
all
figure
this
that out.
now.
We'll
Yeah.
figure that out.
If anybody has any complaints or technical annoyances, definitely shout. Oh God, this is gonna sound so bad in the clip. Although the filter should stop that.
It should.
We'll see.
I'm testing here.
Anybody wants just general questions or comments, concerns, criticisms? If you hate me, tell me to shut up. I'm wrong, or either of us.
Neither of us will shut up.
Yeah, get at us on Instagram.
We've got the mics,
and you will listen to every word I have to say, sir.
You'll like it.
At Lift Talk Podcast on Instagram, and I'll be posting some videos and pictures of Pine Hills. You guys can go check that out. I don't know how long it's going to take to get up, but we'll have another episode hopefully maybe next week. We can do another one.
Yeah, let's see.
It's going to be a semi-regular basis.
Yeah.
Hungry for content, these people, we'll say. All right, I guess that's all I had for today. So
I guess
for listening.
We'll say, because maybe it'll still be the holidays when these are released, so happy holiday-ish season.
Very good point.
It might be Thanksgiving. It
It's
might
the 21st,
be not
right?
Thanksgiving.
It's close.
So
basically
happy
Christmas.
whatever time of year it is.
Happy holiday,
you're
whatever you
listening.
celebrate.
What exactly?
Bikemas. I don't know how you people do this.
Bike things.
I hope you guys get many bike parts for Christmas. Hopefully
That's
be
the dream.
live before that. I don't know how long it'll take, but that'll be kind of
we'll
cool,
see.
right?
We'll see.
Merry Christmas to us. Big thanks to Riley for getting out in the middle of the day. And I mean, it's nice out, so he's taking time. I guess I'm going to be put on bike court trial for taking time from his bike.
Bike court trial.
Anybody else? We're going to get some, hopefully get some guests in here maybe for the next one and spice it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Put some other people in the stand for bike court. We'll see.
Should we do an outro? Maybe I'll do an outro. Ready? Cue outro. Bam.